How we doing? I'm gonna just let some more people get in here. How do I pull up the chat on my thing? Hold on. Trying to see some. Trying to figure out how to pull this up on OBS. Where is this at? I don't know. I might have to just pull it up on my phone. All right, let me tweet this stuff out, get the link out there. All right. Post on Twitter. We'll get it going. Oops. Hold on. I'm trying to figure some stuff out. How do I pull up the chat, man? I usually can have it on OBS, but I think I messed it up. Chat, I got it. There we go. There we go. That was a process. All right, we good. SRP always first. You didn't broadcast last week. Yeah, I was busy. I was really busy. Appreciate you tuning in. First time on the live. What's up, bro? Appreciate it. Chico, what's up? What's up? Chico Dread. How are you? I'm good, man. I'm blessed. I'm always blessed. Truly, always blessed, man. I can never complain. Mayoa. Hopefully I pronounced that right. What's up, brother? How's it going, man? Mayoa. Appreciate you tuning in. All right. We should be smooth. If we don't start the week with your live, our trading week will be bad. Appreciate it. It's always nice to have the little forecast going on Sunday. Kenanisa. What's up? But I just post on Instagram, then we're good. Boom. Left from futures. You're done with futures? Crazy. Try not to deviate, man. That's the thing. Try not to deviate. You gotta just lock in, trade one instrument. That deviating, it can definitely get to you. You know, try not to go back and forth. I've definitely been through that, so I know what you're going through. I know you mentioned something in the server about swinging. You just have to decide what fits your personality. If swinging is going to be better for you in terms of not even performance, but being able to submit to the strategy. Like, think about it from a personality perspective. If you can swing and submit to the actual model better, that's what's important. Because you can be profitable scalping, intraday trading, swinging, etc. It just comes down to what fits your personality and, you know, what you can submit to. Let me put NQ on this. We'll go over the forecast. All right. Yes, thank you. Yeah, S&P and Nas are amazing, man. That's all you need, honestly. It's really all you need. Futures is tiring for me. I'm more comfortable in the Forex. I love both, man. But if I had to pick, gun to my head, I'd say futures. They're just so liquid. They have no spreads. They're more regulated. If I had to pick, I'm going futures, man. Because you can swing them too. There's no rollover. Just trying to respond to someone in the chat real quick. Yeah, but for example, NAS and NQ is a bit different. It's just a different instrument. CFD versus future. I would argue NAS 100 will be more manipulated because it's not a futures contract, so it's not getting CME group data. But all right, let's drop the economic calendar on the chart. You guys already know the drill, man. You guys already know the drill. Visual. All right, let's get it. So first thing that we do going into every new week is check the economic calendar. Now, I'm not demanding that there's news on the day. Like I mentioned in the past, that's something I've done, especially with crosses, trading Forex crosses. I think demanding news on the day can be good, but I've mainly been trading indices lately, and there's already a lot of volatility inherently within 9:30 equities open, within New York kill zone on indices on ES and NQ. So I really don't need to go and demand red folder every day that I trade. To me, that's just adding a constraint onto my trading for no reason. I already have the volatility, right? So for me, I'm trading on days without news, but I'm still using this economic calendar as a roadmap. And so what I mean by that is I'm using this economic calendar still to identify low probability and high probability days. I'm not just going to force things in the charts. I'm using the calendar to say, all right, this day is probably going to be consolidation or lower probability. This day is probably going to see expansion for the week, and so on and so forth. So I'm not being as demanding about having red folder news on the day, but red folder news days are going to be those days with volatility, with more intention, more energy per se. Why is it worse? I know CFD is worse than futures. I think just spreads, really, manipulation. That's it. It's more manipulated. Forex and CFDs have wider spreads versus you. Like if you look at ES and NQ, and then you compare that to NAS 100 and XPX or whatever it is. What is it? NAS 100 and US 500 or something. There's going to be wider spreads, more manipulation on CFDs versus the futures contracts have literally one tick spread. One tick is 0.25. So there's 4 ticks and a point. So when that thing limit, like when you place a limit, that thing gets hit, you're getting tagged in. So for intraday traders, futures is night and day better. It's not close, in my opinion. For swinging, you can make the argument for both. Unicorn model, baby. Yes, sir. Love the unicorns. So let's get into this economic calendar now, man. Monday, we have USD red folder. So this is one of those rare occasions where Monday actually has red folder news. So we could see some energy on Monday. Generally you see us mention that the Monday has no news and it will likely be consolidation for the week. This Monday is different. We have red folder. So it could be some volatility and energy right on Monday, which is nice to see out the gate. Tuesday, we have Swiss franc, Australian dollar, and US dollar, red folder. So Monday, Tuesday might have volatility on indices, on majors. If you're intraday trading crosses, You know, Swiss franc, Australian dollar. You have red folder on those days, so that can be good days to focus on those currencies. Honestly though, intraday trading crosses is just, it's a bit of a stretch for me. If I'm trading Forex, it's going to be swinging personally. Again, these are all my opinions I'm sharing. Obviously, everything that I say is just my opinion. It's subjective. But if I'm swinging, or if I'm trading crosses, it swings. So CHF, Australian dollar, if you trade those pairs, could have nice volatility. Those currencies could have nice volatility on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have British pound and US dollar. So really nice to see that we have, you know, ton of red folder this week on US dollar. We have NFP week, right? The first Friday of every month is NFP. So we have NFP this week as well on US dollar. NFP weeks tend to be a little bit wonky. The first week of every month tends to be a bit weird delivery, just wonky price delivery, but it is what it is. I'm willing to put on risk pretty much every day this week based on what this calendar is telling me. So there should be a lot of volatility, hopefully, based on what we're seeing here. Thursday, red folder, and then Friday, Canadian dollar and US dollar. And, you know, we got NFP. If you know how to work with spreads, yeah, it's just a headache. You can work with them. Like, everything is, you can definitely work with spreads. It's not like something that you can't be profitable with. It's just more of a headache. Rollover as well when you're swinging gets kind of annoying, especially if you're not swinging. Like, if you're on the 1 hour, that rollover can be significant. If you have wide enough stops on 4 hour and daily, rollover usually isn't an issue, but depends. How the heck are we in the last month? It's crazy. It's actually crazy. So insane. Time's flying. 2025, I'm really trying to take my trading to the next level. I'm trying to take all my students to the next level, man. Like, I really want to just level up everything that I've been doing in all aspects. You know, time is truly flying. I'm grateful every day, but it's scary. It's scary how fast time flies. I'm very proud of the man I'm becoming. I'm proud of the growth. I'm proud of the process. I love the process, but it's definitely scary to see how fast time flies. You just have to truly enjoy every single day. You know, we're blessed to be able to even pursue this and to wake up and do something that we love. To go to the charts and love what you do every day is the biggest blessing in the world, man. Like, it's actually crazy and so humbling. Like, I'm going on a rant here, but I'll go and drive by some people doing like infrastructure or like some demanding, grueling work, sweating their ass off, and I just look at them and I'm like, man, I'm so blessed. Like, not ever looking down on them, but it's just like a slap in the face. It humbles me, and I'm like, wow, I'm so blessed to be able to do what I do. You know, there's people really working so hard, blue collar type stuff, working their ass off. So just make sure you count your blessings, man. We're so blessed, highly favored. How can we release another live trading session on YouTube using the Solus model? Yeah, I'll be live trading for sure on YouTube. I want to try to do one live trading stream a week on YouTube. I'm not sure how realistic that is for me or not. I live trade in the Discord usually 3 to 4 times per week, but I will be trying to go live at least once per week on YouTube. I also have new videos coming on this channel, so I'm really hyped for that. Some banger videos coming out. I'm gonna go really hard with YouTube. Like, my plan is to really go hard with the YouTube videos. There's gonna be a ton of value on this channel, man. Say you walked away. I still use unicorns. I've always used FEGs. That's the thing. Before I even was using unicorns, I was focusing on FEGs, you know, for value gap entries. So I use both. I've always used both. Solus is more focused on entering off unicorns, but in terms of my trading, I've always used, you know, those for value gaps. That's like the foundation of everything. Appreciate you, Mosin. Appreciate you tuning in, bro. All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about dollar. Let's talk about what I'm seeing. So, completely changes. Yeah, it's all preference, brother. Like, at the end of the day, it's what makes sense to your brain. It's what your eyes see on the chart, because we're all looking at this same chart, right? We all look at the same chart, but you could show it to, you know, 100 different people and get different perspectives. You know, we're all looking at the same candlesticks, but we just perceive them differently. We have different personalities. Certain things stick out to you that might not stick out to me, and vice versa. So it just comes down to what makes sense to you in your brain. You know, that's what I always say. I'm never going to be the type of person to say like, you have to use this, and if you don't, then, you know what I'm saying, like, that's just a ignorant thing to say. But I will say though, a high probability change in state of delivery does have a fair value gap. So that's why I like viewing just fair value gaps. You know, a high probability shift in structure, a market structure shift, has a gap. A high probability CISD has a gap. So for me, just viewing the gaps is what makes sense to my brain. But again, I would encourage you to just use whatever makes sense to you. And if that's CISD, then absolutely keep using it. So dollar, interesting spot here. I always talk to you guys, I always mention that these swing points, these major swing points, right? They're key. They're so important to understand and gauge the respect or disrespect of these areas. So once we had reached this higher time frame monthly objective, you want to take a step back. You know, we talked about this in the Discord, we talk about this in the analysis tab. We want to gauge the respect or disrespect of this area, and that will be seen by a wick or a body. So if we had a strong body close through this liquidity here, right? Let me just get this right. Damn. If we had a strong body close through, disrespecting this liquidity, we would be talking about this entirely different, because that would be indicating strength on dollar, and we'd be looking at the next liquidity pool to target, the next PD array to target. But because we have that respect of this buy side, we need to readjust. We need to understand, you know, that we're not actually what's the word I'm looking for, displacing through this buy side. We're respecting it and we're retracing back. So what do we have here? Well, we have this monthly fair value gap that we're setting up, which is very interesting, right? It's a new month. At the beginning of these next months, you know, December, January, at the beginning, you always want to be tapped into what the monthly is doing. So I usually look at the monthly a couple times per month, maybe 2-3 times per month. You don't need to look at the monthly every day. You just have to keep an idea of monthly objectives, what the monthly is saying every so often. So we're sweeping the monthly buy side. We have this bullish monthly fair value gap. I'm trying to kind of walk through things more in depth today instead of just rushing through anything. I want to really go in depth. For the people that are here, the people that are tapped in, man, you guys deserve to get all the insights. So, as seen by this wick respecting this buy side, then we can drop into the weekly and daily and understand that right now we're likely retracing. So this wick on the monthly is going to be fair value gaps and a shift in order flow on the 1 hour and 4 hour and so on, you know, the lower time frames. So we drop into the weekly. Well, what do we see here? We have that monthly BISI down below that can act as a magnet potentially. We have a weekly gap here. We're closing right in the middle of it. And so for me to be extremely bearish towards that monthly BISI and have that as my draw, well, I'd like to see follow through lower here. I'd like to see disrespect of this. I want to see clear disrespect of this gap on the weekly if we're going to continue lower. If we're not going to draw to this monthly BISI and we're actually just going to continue higher off the weekly, well, we'll see that on the 4 hour. And so if we shift on the 4 hour and begin to respect this and point higher, then we'll look at the buy side. But this is what I mean by always just flowing with the price action, understanding where the gaps in the order flow is pointing. That's all that we're doing. That is the edge. The edge is the ability to get on side consistently. So even when I'm wrong, I'm able to get back on side. You know, that's the edge. It's not about forecasting with 100% accuracy. It's not about having an 100% strike rate. Anybody that says that they have that, I promise you they're lying to you and you need to just run. You need to run away. That's not the reality. And so it's about getting on side consistently. So this weekly gap is going to be very telling for me in terms of, do we shift on the 4 hour and begin pointing higher and respecting that? Or do we disrespect it, have new 4 hour daily gaps pointing lower, disrespecting this weekly gap? If that's the case, we can look to target this sell side and this monthly gap down here, right? So that's that weekly sell side is that monthly BISI. And so gun to my head, it's looking more bearish to me. But again, I would be waiting. I want to see new gaps disrespecting this weekly gap lower for me to, begin to target this sell side down here. Because if we fail to offer fair value, well, then what are we doing? We're seeking liquidity lower. So the 4-hour and daily and then this weekly gap will be very, very telling about the direction here. So need a bit more price action for me. I would throw it on the wait list and just be waiting to see, do we create 4-hour daily gaps lower pointing towards the sell side in the monthly BISI, or do we respect this weekly gap and continue higher? So I'll throw it on the wait list. But that direction, once it becomes clear, that's when you can take that to the majors and the currencies and understand that, okay, this is the direction of dollar. And so this is, the direction I want to be trading the majors in. So when I don't have a clear understanding of where dollar wants to go, I don't trade majors. And so I'll just be waiting. Long story short. We shall see. This weekly gap, again, will be very, very telling. So we'll see if we, fall through lower, creating new gaps lower, disrespecting it. If that's the case, we target the sell side here. And yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. Confused about how to change state delivery more correctly. I'm not the guy. I don't use CISD. I know it's an order block. It's literally just the order block that's created when price shifts order flow. But I'm not the guy to ask, because to me, CISD, it's just irrelevant. I don't need it. So it's not something that I will even waste my time thinking about. And that's not even me being disrespectful. It's just blunt honesty. Like, I'm not, I'm not going to waste brain points trying to figure out something I don't use. So you'd have to ask someone that uses it. But it's just the order block that's created when order flow shifts. There's one more weekly for value gap. Yeah, right here. But if we trade lower into this weekly for value gap, I would just be expecting that monthly BISI to get tagged. If we trade lower into this, I'm just expecting follow through lower towards that sell side. Will Trump tariff news affect dollar? I assume it would. I don't really pay a lot of attention to fundamentals, how they affect things. Like, I'm not looking at news in terms of fundamentally how does it affect things. I just react to the price action. So MPG, if it does or it doesn't, that'll be reflected in the candlesticks. And so for me, I'm not worried about if it will or will not. I just react to what it does, right? So if it does affect dollar, well, the order flow and the candlesticks are going to start reacting, having volatility, pointing in whatever direction. And so everything that happens is just with the fundamentals is reflected into the candlestick. So for me, I don't worry about, oh, will this affect this? Will this affect that? I just react to what it does, right? So there's one more above the swing low. Yeah, again, if this gets traded into, I would just be expecting this monthly BISI to get hit. The monthly is straight chop, and so sweeping this external range does not surprise me at all. BRICS currency. There's just so much conflict in general with everything. Like, who knows what's gonna happen, honestly. Everyone's trying to make a push, man. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on dollar. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Let's check out indices. Bruh, it's just crazy times, man. Like, even with Russia, man, it's just insane. They're really trying to start a world war. I pray it doesn't come to that. I pray that they work things out, because it's scary times. Monthly bullish order flow, right? We traded into this monthly order block. We called this months ago when we were looking at all-time highs as draw. Wick showing respect. We always want to submit to that higher time frame trend. weekly traded into our area of fair value. We talked about this as well. All of this has been called, right? This is not hindsight. All of this has been forecasted in the Discord. It's just about submitting to the higher time frame order flow and understanding areas of fair value, understanding where price should and should not return to. So if we were going higher, we should have respected this area, which we did, to continue higher. Now it gets a bit interesting because we're sweeping this buy side here, this weekly buy side, right? Very sloppy delivery and not a lot of intention here. So it wouldn't surprise me to see some form of pullback right now. There's a lot of liquidity here. I really don't like this signature in price for higher prices. You know, to me, this looks like they're setting this up. We'll see. Again, I always react to price and I still want to submit to this higher time frame trend. But this type of signature in price usually means low resistance liquidity run. All these failure swings, all these engineered lows usually means very explosive price action to the downside. But again, I'm not willing to submit to lower prices right now. Monthly bullish order flow, weekly bullish order flow. I'm submitting to that trend. So we're sweeping this buy side. I want to see new gaps get created higher if we're going to continue higher here. For example, a new 4-hour gap here and then follow through higher off that. Now, if we begin to get a shift in order flow on the daily, if we get a strong reaction lower and this order flow begins to shift, then yes, we may be targeting these lows. But until then, I'm submitting to my higher time frame, you know, order flow, which is the weekly and monthly. These are the king time frames. What they want, what they say, goes. So we're always submitting to that. So if we're going to continue higher, I would like to see a new 4-hour fair value gap form here, respective this area, and continue higher from there. If we fail to do that, the 4-hour shifts here, that's not a good sign for longs at all. And then again, with these signatures in price, it looks pretty sus to me. So we'll see. But again, we're at all-time highs. I believe this is all-time highs, right? Yeah, crazy. So we're at all-time highs. We do have these very suspect signatures here. All these failure swings are low resistance liquidity. But again, we're submitting to that higher time frame order flow. I'm still bullish until the order flow points lower. Right? So there's no reason for me to call a top. I will never call a top. You'll never see me call a top. What I will do is react to order flow. And so if we do form a top, we're going to create gaps lower. We're going to have a shift in order flow and things are going to begin pointing lower. And if that's the case, then yes, I will be looking for lower prices. But again, right now we're submitting to that higher time frame order flow, still bullish. Would want to see respect of this leg if we're going to continue higher. Why do I want to see respect of this leg specifically, this 4-hour leg? Well, if we're going to continue bullish, that should be our area to head higher off of. I wouldn't want to see a dig deep into this area here. So indices are in a bit of a weird spot to me where I want to see them head higher, but would not surprise me if they don't. To be honest, kind of a weird spot with everything right now. Very in the middle. NASDAQ sweeping that monthly buy side. Delivering higher off the OB. Weekly buy side up here. So NASDAQ still has some room to hit that buy side. We are closing above this daily SIBI, right? So when we have a failure to offer fair value, well, then we should now seek liquidity. So NASDAQ looks better in terms of having a higher time frame objective. But again, if we're going to continue higher, we want to see ES expand off this leg that's getting created here. I want to see higher prices off this. Then we can look to target the buy side on NASDAQ, which would be nice. So I do prefer NASDAQ here, honestly. It's slightly weaker, or at least it has been weaker than S&P, but it still has a clear buy side objective for me. So unless I would want to see ES create new context here, like we could potentially trade to the previous day high, operate within that. But yeah, not interested in calling a top. Want to see this fall through, but these are definitely a red flag to me. This signature shows a lack of intention to continue, a lack of strength, potentially engineer liquidity. So we'll see what happens. Still submitting to that trend though. So bullish on indices still. YM and Russell tend to provide some color here. So YM also near all-time highs. This added a lot of, this is just beautiful. This was beautiful delivery on YM. We talked about this in the Discord. Gorgeous delivery off this area of fair value, right? This overlapping order block and gap. Monthly, weekly, bullish order flow. Just gorgeous respect of that area. So that, all of this has been delivered fairly. So if we're going to continue higher, I would want to see price do so from here. All of this is essentially irrelevant to price action if it's going to deliver higher. So we want to see it do so from here if we're going to continue higher. That's our area of fair value. If we fail and we begin to disrespect this area, then we're failing to offer fair value. We'll target the sell side. But again, still submitting to that higher time frame trend. Would want to see higher prices off this if we're going to continue. SMT on NQ and ES. What time frame SMT? Talking about ES taking the high and NQ not, I don't really consider that SMT yet. I don't even really use SMT like I've mentioned many times. Yeah. So this would be our next target. Already took that. Weekly, sweeping this high. Yeah, indices just indices to me are signaling some weakness here. They look like they're losing steam. Why do I say that? Well, right now we're just consolidating. We're having these failure swings. Price is not creating new fair value gaps higher. We're sweeping higher time frame objectives and then consolidating. For example, this daily gap here, we failed to expand higher off of. This was nice delivery, but now we're sleeping. So we'll see what happens, man. But I'm not interested in calling tops. So until the order flow aligns, we submit to the order flow always. Nightbot's on your head. Nightbot is on your head. Yeah. Do you consider entries out? It's on indices. I want to enter within 9:30 to 12 or 1 to 4. So AM or PM session. But the window, the beautiful window is like 9:30 to 11. Beautiful window. Do you only trade from 8 to 12 majors? You can trade London. I don't like trade London ever because I'm asleep. I'm on the East Coast of the United States. I'm on New York time, actually. Eastern Standard Time. The algorithm time. Head ass. So, I don't trade London. After 9:30 trades. Yeah, equities open 9:30 is just straight volatility juice for indices, which is amazing. Yeah, I'll look at Bitcoin. It's right here at the bottom. So it'll be the last one I look at. Majors, we are waiting on dollar, right? We're waiting for that clarity on dollar. We're waiting for that clear direction. So that's going to add a lot of color on what we want to be doing on majors, but you can very clearly see that euro is sweeping this sell side. It's very similar to dollar, right? Where it's just euro, USD, and dollar trade very, very similarly, just inverse. Most importantly, I have to get as a manipulation. I assume that's what you meant. Monthly SIBI up here. Trading into this weekly gap. So it's very, very similar to my dollar analysis where I want to see how we react from this weekly gap. If the 4-hour order flow shifts and respects this weekly gap, we can potentially look to target the sell side lower, but we want to see dollar agree with that. So we'd want to see dollar shift from this weekly gap as well and see agreement in these two. Conversely, if we begin to disrespect that, dollar begins to disrespect this and remain bearish, well, then we have to understand that and acknowledge that. So we're going to be expecting higher if dollar continues lower. And so we need to just wait. It really comes down to waiting on more data from dollar, because the direction on dollar is what's going to allow you to align with majors. You always want dollar in agreement with whatever you're doing in terms of majors. Weekly gap here on pound. Same analysis. Want to see potential shift in order flow if we're going to go lower. This structure is really nice for a sell model. Not going to lie, this looks like really good structure. But again, we need to see dollar agree. If dollar doesn't shift and agree, then these ideas do not agree. SRP, man, you know the answer to that question. Yeah. You already know the answer to that question. Sell side. Weekly sell side being swept. I don't use anything other than gray boxes and gray lines for value gaps and liquidity pools. That's it. For value gaps and liquidity. That's all I need. Straight chop on Australian dollar, US dollar. Swept this sell side. Yes, sir. Swept the sell side, we're right back into the range. This is straight chop, not something that you would want to be getting involved in. This would be an insta skip for me. New Zealand dollar as well doesn't look amazing. We're sweeping this sell side, working right back into this range. We have the monthly CIBI here as well. Go ahead and mark that out. Weekly sweeping this low, expecting a retracement and potential higher prices here if dollar continues lower. So again, it all relies on what dollar says. Dollar is the world currency. Everything is pretty much sweeping a high time frame liquidity pool and then setting up a monthly BISI from what I'm seeing, or CIBI. So very interesting and similar price action here. If dollar continues lower, I'd be looking for lower here. Right, exactly. It really just all depends on dollar. That's the thing. That's the hard part about analyzing majors and the order flow on them is any trade idea I would put on is 100% contingent on the direction of dollar. Very, very, very important to understand. Weekly sweeping this high, right? Sloppy. Daily, no gaps lower. Kind of just consolidating, messing around here. 4 hour, sloppy. Just really sloppy delivery on USD CAD, but again, depends on the direction of dollar. Swiss franc. Trading into the monthly CIBI. Closing slightly above it. Created a monthly BISI here. We're going to go ahead and transpose that to the monthly, weekly. Trading into this weekly BISI. Want to see the direction of dollar, as I've said 4 times. If dollar is bullish, we could potentially deliver higher off that. If dollar is weak, we're not going to expect follow through off this weekly gap. We're going to expect this to dig deeper. Because anything with USD as the base currency is going to move direct correlation to dollar. And then conversely, anything where USD is the quote currency will just move inversely. So if I'm trading the majors, I'm just waiting. Long story short. See how I'm always looking at the current price action. I'm not looking left. If I'm taking anything from the left over here, it's just liquidity targets. Gold is clearer than these shits. USD yen. Bullish on the monthly. We traded into the monthly SIBI. Had a previous candle high sweep. This is a crazy reaction here. If dollar continues lower, USD yen looks nice for lower. Previous candle sweep. Closing below this. This looks like a potential shift happening. So if we get lower dollar, USD yen shorts could be nice. Because this looks pretty weak. We'll see what happens here. We do have the monthly BISI as well. So I want to keep an eye on that. Might have some trapped order flow right here. Or we trade in the monthly SIBI. Now we have the monthly BISI. Again, contingent on what dollar is doing. Crude oil's been shit, man. All my homies hate crude oil, man. All my homies hate crude oil. Gold is a bit clear. Gold looking juicy if we close above that huge daily down close. Let go long. All right, got you. You guys are gassing up gold. It better be good. You guys can't be glazing gold. It better be good, man. All right, monthly consolidation. Sloppy. We'll mark out, close targets on the monthly. All I really see are these liquidities, right? So we have previous candle high and low, swing points. Where's the order flow pointing right now? Well, right now on the weekly, it's pointing lower. Order flow saying lower. This is straight chop garbage. Like, making sense of this is just stupid, but so we're looking for lower right now. Daily. Oh my god, bro. This is disgusting, man. Previous candle high sweep. I want to see, are there any gaps? There's just no gaps anywhere, bro. So this is the easiest way you can identify what's low probability and what's high. If you can't find a fair value gap on the higher time frames anywhere, it's probably low probability. It's probably chop, and it's probably something you don't want to put risk on. So do you see how we literally can't find a fair value gap anywhere right now? Look at the current order flow. This chart is disgusting, dog. Yeah, for real. It's actually sickening. This is where people go wrong. We're operating within straight chop. They'll look at the 1 hour, the 15 minute, and just try to operate within this and expect some type of follow through. When in reality, all we're doing is just sweeping these highs and lows and just working within this range. So until we get clear gaps out of this consolidation, you just don't touch it. Gold's glizz. That's crazy. All right, let's see. Let's see what they talking about, gold. Monthly BISI. Beautiful respect of that monthly BISI. Lots of people were bearish on gold here, but we did say in the Discord we were expecting this nice reaction here. For real, bro. We had to get crude oil off the screen. That was tough to work through. Beautiful respect though. Love this close. Love this monthly close. Beautiful context. I see why you guys are hyping it up. Weekly strong reaction here, but I would ultimately expect continuation higher. Yes, we have the weekly BISI or SIBI. I'll leave it, but again, this is what we see when we have opposing PD arrays, but the draw is still higher. We'll have a reaction, but it should ultimately get invalidated. Daily SIBI here. I want to see disrespect of this SIBI, new 4 hour gaps higher, to then look for this buy side. So failure to offer fair value, right? So we're going to fail to offer fair value ideally here, create new 4 hour gaps higher, and we can look for longs towards this high. So that is nice. I will say that is very nice. But we want to see that order flow. I want to see that agreement. So I want to see a failure of this SIBI. This is daily. Daily. So I want to see new 4 hour gaps higher through this daily SIBI. Target this buy side, and then ultimately these highs up here. But yeah, this does look really good. Only thing I don't like right now is the daily SIBI, so I want to wait for new gaps through it. I want to see us head higher from here, off this area. disrespect again of this daily SIBI, then target. This is my short term. This would be my short term target towards this buy side. So again, I'll be waiting for a little more to be willing to put risk on for this towards this high, but it does look like it's setting up nicely. So I see what you guys are saying. Right now we are trapped within these gaps though. Would like to see new 4-hour gaps higher. I will take swinging gold. Yeah, what are you swinging Forex and commodities or what? Forex, indices, and commodities, just all CFD, I'm assuming. Monthly sloppy on silver. Weekly, I think they rolled over the contracts. That's why my drawings are messed up. Didn't tag into this showing weakness. We swept this swing low. Daily, yeah, this is just sloppy. Daily traded into this SIBI. We're not really falling through, sweeping this low. Would expect higher prices on silver as well if we're bullish on gold, obviously. But silver to me looks like the very clearly weaker metal of the two. But again, would ultimately expect higher prices here. We swept this swing low, 4-hour order flow pointing higher, so we can look to target buy side up here. This weekly SIBI never got tagged, so that can act as a target as well. External to internal, we're bullish on gold, so would still be expecting this to head higher, although it's weaker. So I would favor gold for longs, just based off relative strength. That's the thing about swinging, bro. If you could just do 2-hour a month, take a few swings a month with a high win rate, book 2-hour a month, and all you need to do, like if you can just net 2-hour a month consistently with swings, all you have to do is put capital behind that. It just takes a couple swings a month. 1 or 2, 3, like 3 or 4, that's it. Net 2-hour consistently a month. People are just, they have a misconception of what it means to just be consistent with a model. Like if you can just net consistent 2-hour, from there it's really just about scaling and having capital to back that. Monthly bullish order flow. Bitcoin has been flying. We know this. 100K on the way, most likely. Weekly BISI did not get traded into. We're having a strong wick and rejection here. Disrespecting this daily SIBI. I'm looking at these highs now. See if we create new 4-hour gaps higher. This is pretty sloppy delivery here, but ultimately looking at a higher draw right now. No bearish for value gaps created, right? We haven't had a shift in order flow. We're still having fall through higher, just pretty sloppy. So I'd like to see new 4-hour gaps higher in that direction. Target that buy side. Daily is failing to offer fair value, so we should seek this buy side liquidity here. Bitcoin looks bullish. Gold looks bullish. Majors need to wait for dollar and some clear direction on dollar, but that's pretty much what I'm seeing. Can you explain the off entry? Yeah, the off entry, I'm gonna have a full video coming out on that probably within a couple weeks. I'm gonna post a video soon. It's called Master Draw on Liquidity in 10 minutes, so that'll come out first, and then the off entry video will come out after that. But I can explain it very quickly here. An off entry is just an order flow flip. Off stands for order flow flip. An order flow flip is simply, you know, it's no different than a market structure shift or a change in state of delivery. But in my opinion, it's more simple. It's higher probability because, like I said earlier in the stream, a high probability MSS, a high probability CISD, change in state of delivery, creates a fair value gap. So an order flow flip and an order flow flip entry is simply identifying a fair value gap that is created out of a higher time frame PD array, because that's our shift in order flow. That is our flip of order flow. The last order flow flip entry trade I took was on NQ. I believe it was in this chop on Wednesday. Is it 15? Yeah, is this. So I've been trading indices more intraday. Scalp type stuff where I'm entering on the 1 minute and 5 minute. That's it. Here's an example of what I saw on indices, right? We swept this external low, this swing low. We have a SIBI here on the 4 hour. So this 4 hour gap can act as our draw, external to internal, whatever you want to call it. Liquidity, fair value. We have 15 minute in alignment now, right? So this is our order flow flip on the 15 minute. We traded into that 4 hour PD array, that liquidity. So our order flow flip is simply the fair value gap that is created out of that higher time frame PD array. So this is our order flow flip. Now the order flow is in alignment on the 15 minute. We trade into this 15 minute fair value gap, this PD array here. And this is where I was looking for a 1 minute entry, expecting this to potentially hold. You know, I would obviously confirm that on the lower time frames on the 1 minute, and then you take the order flow flip entry there. So we trade into the 15 minute gap after sweeping that 4 hour swing low. So we have a higher time frame bias. This is our order flow flip. First fair value gap out of that higher time frame PD array. Set our limit at the fair value gap here. I don't know why it just filled me up there, but cool, whatever. Just assume that the fill was at there. I think it just made me, it made me market buy. I couldn't limit order with the paper trade shit, but you guys get the idea. That's your order flow flip entry. It would have been a limit order fill right here. Obviously, I can't place a limit order right now. Trail your stop based on where price should not return to. So I'd already be moving my stop here. Honestly, just break even. There's no reason for this to trade back to break even. Boom, tagged out for 2 hour. So boom, that's the order flow flip entry. It's just higher time frame PD array, fair value gap out on the aligned time frame. Simple. But I have a full video on that coming very soon. I'm about to grind YouTube, man. Yeah, it's so clear. It's so nice, man. It's so nice. It's so simple. It's high probability. It's simple. It's just everything, man. I love it. Order flow flip. But yeah, I'm gonna grind YouTube, man. I'm really excited to go really hard with YouTube content, YouTube videos. I want to grow. I want to grow this channel a lot, provide a ton of value for you guys, and just make amazing videos. So I'm really excited to go hard with YouTube and grow this channel. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. I hope that you guys will tune into the next videos that I post, all the future streams and whatnot. I appreciate you guys showing love, and I hope that you get value from the things that I put on here. Yen pairs. You want me to look at them? I'm down. I'll look at some yen pairs for you. Still weak, I presume. Yeah, we called shorts on yen last week or 2 weeks ago. I said yen pairs look really good for shorts. See how we had this signature in price for low resistance liquidity, and then see the energy. Yeah, really nice. Market order rejected. I'm not trying to mark it in, bro. What? What the fuck? Yeah, this is nice. Bro, no answer. Do you use fair value apps? Yes, I do. I trade on YouTube again. Yeah, I need to. Definitely. Yes, I do.